So this triple threat match for WrestleMania 41 hasn't officially been announced yet, but we know it's going to happen. And I'm all for it, but to my surprise, a lot of people aren't really feeling this. I feel like there are so many people nitpicking things about this. Like, this is a perfect triple threat for WrestleMania, even without a championship involved. There's really no championship, honestly, that's really needed. Of course, you have three of the biggest stars in the WWE today, so yes, this match on paper is big enough to be a world championship match, but if you've been paying attention to the story, the title really isn't needed for this right now, bro. This is a bad blood, key word, bad blood, not the PLE bad blood, but bad blood animosity feud with a lot of grudges in it. I mean, this goes back years ago, when CM Punk pretty much was one of the reasons the Shield was even a thing, right? And, the Shield, when they first came up to the main roster, they were protecting CM Punk when he was WWE champion. Now, I don't know how many people remember this, but CM Punk did have a feud with the Shield, right? And he did beat them at TLC in a 3-on-1 handicap match, which was stupid if you ask me, but that's not the point that I'm going to make here. If you remember, he had individual matches with each guy on episodes of Raw week by week to find out who the breakout star of the Shield was going to be. Who's going to be the guy in the Shield to step up to prove themselves, right? And there was only one guy that was able to beat CM Punk in one-on-one competition, and it wasn't Seth Rollins, it was Roman Reigns. If you really go back and look at it, WWE at that time was really kind of starting to tell us that Roman Reigns, they had big plans for him, like he's going to be our next guy. They weren't really saying it, but if you look back at the small details within certain matches that they were doing with Roman Reigns and how he was winning certain matches while the other Shield members weren't, they were kind of really telling us that. And then we all heard the Colt Cabana podcast, many years ago when CM Punk left and he spoke about things that were happening within the WWE that he didn't like, and there were some people that didn't like the things that he was saying and stuff like that, and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were two of those individuals. Then you fast forward many years later, right, and CM Punk, coming back to WWE did not sit well with Seth Rollins. He made it clear that he hated CM Punk. Those were the words that he said. But with this triple threat match, they pretty much have been telling us this was the plan for WrestleMania pretty much since Survivor Series last year at War Games. They were planting the seeds then right in front of us. When the OG bloodline was down one member, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso asked Seth Rollins to join their team to help them defeat the new bloodline. And Seth Rollins said, "Over my dead body, I will never, ever team up with that guy, Roman Reigns, ever again." And Roman Reigns was baffled, offended. They would even ask Seth Rollins without his permission. How dare you ask that guy? The guy that destroyed the Brotherhood that we once had, destroying the Shield. You think I'm going to trust that guy ever again? Even though they did have some Shield reunions here and there, but this is a whole completely different version of Roman Reigns now than it was back then. So the OG bloodline was down a member, but you know what? They didn't care at that point. They was ready to fight 4-on-5 if they had to, until the return of the wise man, shocking everybody. Paul Heyman comes back, and he had a plan up his sleeve. He had a favor up his sleeve that he was using, and he called in somebody. "Hey, man, you're my guy. I need a favor. Can you help me out?" So who did he call? It was CM Punk. And a lot of people, I think, were confused by it at that time, but it all made sense. They told us within the story, CM Punk did not team up with the bloodline for Roman Reigns. He did it for Paul Heyman because he is an OG Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman is one of his closest friends. So Paul Heyman needed a favor. CM Punk was there for his friend. And if it was up to Roman Reigns, he would have never accepted CM Punk's invitation to be on the team because he does not like CM Punk either. But there was a bigger picture ahead. They had to come to terms and realize, you know what? We could team up together for one time for the greater good. And even though CM Punk wasn't teaming up with the bloodline to benefit them, he didn't really have any real beef with the bloodline from the past because he wasn't around when they were terrorizing WWE and taking over everything. Now, even though CM Punk and Roman Reigns may not get along, they may not see eye to eye, but they both have allegiance to one guy, and his name is Paul Heyman. And the one key thing we're also talking about is that CM Punk told Paul Heyman, "If I help you out and do this and we win, you're going to owe me a favor." Now, it's a big mystery question. What is the favor? A lot of us thought that favor would apply to something maybe for the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. And at Royal Rumble, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth were all favorites to win. But then who eliminated Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins from the Royal Rumble? It was CM Punk. And then CM Punk was so distracted, he got dumped out by Logan Paul, which caused a big brawl and chaos right afterwards, bro. Seth Rollins stomped Roman's head into the mat. Punk and Rollins are throwing hands back and forth, and then Seth stomps Roman's head into the steel steps. Crazy crash out and a crazy brawl. CM Punk then told everybody, I'm gonna win the Elimination Chamber because I have to main event WrestleMania and become WWE Champion. I deserve that spot and it's where I belong. And Seth Rollins told him and the entire world, over my dead body, will you? I will freaking make sure that you don't main event WrestleMania by any means necessary. And this is where storytelling has such a purpose in this modern Triple H era, because everything that was told right up to the Elimination Chamber happened in that match. And then what happened? Seth Rollins got eliminated by who? CM Punk. And then CM Punk is going back and forth with John Cena, and then Seth Rollins, being the snake that he is, stomps Punk's head into the mat, bro, costing him the Elimination Chamber match by John Cena capitalizing on that opportunity, which was very much out of Cena's babyface gimmick and so just left field, because John Cena, would have never did anything like that 5-10 years ago, but there was a reason for that. That led to one of the most shocking heel turns ever just minutes later, so it all made sense for why they did what they did and how they structured that entire match. Now Punk is out of the WrestleMania main event, so what's next, right? They set up a steel cage between Punk and Rollins. Let's squash this beef. Let's just get it over with, man. Figure out who the better man is between the two, and then we move on. And then we get that steel cage match, and it was back and forth action, bro. Pure storytelling in this cage match. Seth Rollins fulfilled his promise to make sure CM Punk wasn't in the WrestleMania main event, and now CM Punk has to fulfill his promise by destroying Seth freaking Rollins. And in this match, both guys had an opportunity to escape the cage, but you know what? That's an easy, cheap way to win. This feud is about bad blood, man, and winning that way just is not necessary for a victory here. It's not really about just a victory. It's about destroying their opponent to make sure that everybody knows I'm better than that person, and this person will never be as superior as me. And the ending was masterful, bro. Roman Reigns returns and takes out Seth Rollins, but in doing so, he cost CM Punk the steel cage match, allowing Seth to win. So Roman Reigns obviously doesn't care about CM Punk or Seth Rollins' feud. Roman Reigns got to get his leg back now. And then as freaking chaos is pursuing outside the ring, Roman glances inside the ring, and what does he see? He sees CM Punk being catered by his best friend, Paul Heyman. And Roman Reigns, oh no, that doesn't sit well with Roman Reigns, because the wise man should only be the wise man to one man only, and that is the tribal chief in Roman Reigns' mind. So he gets in the ring and beats the crap out of CM Punk and takes him out of commission. This is masterful storytelling unfolding right in front of everybody's eyes. Everybody in this storyline has a purpose to fight at WrestleMania, even without a title involved, bro. It's not really about the championship. Just because it's three of the biggest stars in WWE doesn't mean this triple threat has to be a championship match or has to have some type of stipulation in the end to fight for a title. Like, they could maybe add something like that, and that will be fine. But if they don't, it doesn't really need it. It's pretty simple storytelling. Seth Rollins' two biggest ops in WWE right now are Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And the Roman and Punk factor plays with Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman has allegiance to both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. CM Punk is an original Paul Heyman guy, and we know how Paul Heyman feels about his tribal chief. He loves his tribal chief and acknowledges his tribal chief. And the friction is there between Roman and Punk because of the Paul Heyman factor. It's all storytelling right in front of everybody's face, and I get how some people may feel a title would make it bigger, or a title would just feel right because of the superstars involved. I get that, but if you really think about it, it doesn't really need anything involved that some people are trying to anticipate and think about. And it also doesn't need a stipulation where the winner of this match gets added to the Cena and Cody match. That does not need to happen. The Cena and Cody match honestly should be a one-on-one match, especially after the John Cena heel turn. Cody and Cena needs to be its own feud so they can try to help propel Cody up even further as their top babyface. And then the triple threat, I mean, there's so many different layers and directions they can go in. Like, there's no bad winner as far as the outcome, if you ask me. All three of these guys winning this match would totally be a right decision, in my opinion. And that's a very good decision for WWE to have right now, because they can go the route of CM Punk, they can go the route of Seth Rollins, they can go the route of Roman Reigns, and I feel like anybody winning this match, no matter who they pin, would be a fine decision. Now, if they wanted to add a stipulation stipulation like the winner becomes number one contender and faces the winner of the Cody and Cena match, that's cool because now you can separate Cody and Cena for a while and give Cody another chase to the championship. If John Cena becomes the 17-time world champion, Cena gets a heel run as champion for the first time ever as a world champion, and then whoever wins that match can challenge Cena, and then you can continue the feud between the other two people who don't win the match, and now Cody has another obstacle and goal to, chase for trying to get back another championship. Like, that would be something cool right there if they went that route. But for the winner of the triple threat to be added to that match at WrestleMania, super unnecessary. I don't agree with that at all. This honestly probably is going to be the main event of night one of WrestleMania. I know Jey Uso and Gunther is, a pretty big world championship match, but not everybody who wins the Royal Rumble gets to the main event WrestleMania. That logic has been dead for a long time now. Like, just because you win the Royal Rumble doesn't mean you're always going to main event WrestleMania. And this year, neither winner of the Royal Rumble might get to main event WrestleMania. And I think that would be okay this year because Cena and Cody, I think, is going to be the main event of night two. That is the marquee WrestleMania main event right there. It's big enough to be in that spot, and it's going to have a good story attached to it. Already does right there. Roman, Seth, and Punk, I think that could main event night one. It's big enough to be in the main event, and they already have a story enough that's good enough to fit in that spot. Now, if you still disagree, that's totally fine. Everybody's going to have their personal perspective on it, but that's just how I personally feel about it. I don't think they really need to add a championship or any type of stipulation to this match just based off how much, bad blood there is between this feud. This is like a personal feud where everybody wants to figure out who the better man is, and everybody involved wants to prove that they're better than each other and they're more superior than everybody else involved, and they all hate each other legitimately. So it's just a fun feud to watch, and it all makes sense, coming together. But let me know how you feel about it in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more wrestling content. Click the video right here if you want to check out the No Name Wrestling podcast, which you should. Click the playlist right here to check out every single episode.